What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Game Day with Trey. Of course, this is your host, Trey, and today we're going to talk about the Detroit Lions versus the LA Rams. All right, so this game will be played September 8th, 2024, 8:20 p.m. East Coast time. The line is currently Detroit minus 3.5, over-under set at 51. The line has since moved a little bit. It's currently on Hard Rock. It's Lions minus 4, so the line has moved half a point. But let's go ahead and let's talk about these two teams. All right, so the Lions were only a couple quarters away from making the Super Bowl, but they blew the second half against the San Francisco 49ers and ended up losing. There are some major expectations following this team, and they hope to live up to the hype. And it starts with Jared Goff on the offense. But it doesn't end there. Now, Penei Sewell is one of the best offensive linemen in all of football and is going to be a key contributor to this team for a long time. I mean, like, literally, this boy can ball. He's definitely was worth that first round pick they spent on him a couple years ago. And then when you're talking about Amon-Ra St. Brown, is also one of the best receivers in football and is primed for another big year. The running game is also strong with David Montgomery, and Jahmyr Gibbs is questionable for this game. Tight end Sam Laporta is dealing with a hamstring injury and is also questionable for this game. On defense, the Lions were better last year, but there's still a lot of room for improvement. The real strength last year was defending the run, and they believe they will be even better against the run this season. Aiden Hutchinson is already one of the better defensive players in football, and Jack Campbell enters his second season and is also hoping to take an even better step towards being a standout as a rookie. All right, so what about the Rams? All right, so the Rams might be getting a little overlooked heading into the 2024 season. That's just in my personal opinion. I think this team is fully stocked and loaded. Last year they were the youngest team in the NFL, fielding the most players under 25, and everybody thought it was over for him then. And then what happened? Sean McVay does what Sean McVay does, man, and he's a hell of a coach. He's always able to put a good product out there, and he's able to cobble together things that a lot of people really couldn't do sometimes, man, when it comes to making an offense run and being able to get it to run regardless of who you got out there, man. All right, but on paper, this team does look to be solid. All right, now on offense, the Rams are filled with playmakers, and there's going to be a mismatch in most games. Of course, Matthew Stafford is back under center, and he's still one of the best quarterbacks in football. Running back Kyron Williams is also back, and they drafted Blake Corum out of Michigan, who should get plenty of carries. Now, outside, you got Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, which is kind of like an unfair advantage against most opposing teams. And then you got tight end Tyler Higbee, who is on the PUP list and is out for this game. Now, on defense, there are some major question marks, and it feels like you wouldn't be doing this team any justice if you didn't say it started with the fact that Aaron Donald's gone, right? But they did replace him in the draft pretty well, and I'll talk about that in a second. So they were able to go get Tre'Davious White, all right, who's an injury-prone defender, but he's healthy heading into the first week, so that's major. And they're going to need some major production from him here against the Lions wide receivers. So to talk about who or how they're going to replace Aaron Donald, it all starts with Jared Verse and Fisk, man. Their first and second pick in this year's draft. Out of Florida State. I honestly believe those boys are going to be able to hold this team down, put them in a position to be in games and just play defense, man. But let's go ahead and let's look at some of these stats from last year, right? So last season, the Rams offense ranked 9th in the NFL, averaging 23.7 points per game, whereas Detroit's defense last year was the 25th worst defense in the NFL, giving up 23.8 points per game. All right, now, if you look at it in the inverse, Detroit's offense was the number 5 offense in the NFL, averaging 27.4 points per game, and the Rams' defense last year was middle of the pack, giving up 22.3 points per game, ranked 18th in the NFL last season. All right, now, their major issues on that defense for the Rams, okay, as an example, last season mainly came in the pass game. You know, they I don't think they were getting the pressure that they were accustomed to getting, and they did have a slew of injuries last year as well. And then when you're talking about Detroit also had some injuries last year. Remember, they did draft that cornerback last year out of Alabama, and he got hurt like in, I want to say like week 2 or week 3, something like that. He came back, but it just it really hampered their defense and what they were attempting to try to put together. Now, if you look at it situationally and how these two teams did last year, because you know that's the only numbers we got to look at right now. All right, in this current situation, on the road, okay, as underdog, the Rams straight up were 2-5 last year, whereas Detroit as a home favorite last year was 8-2. Okay, that's straight up. Now against the spread, as an away underdog, the Rams were 4-2-1, but as a home favorite, Detroit was 6-4 against the spread. So once again, Detroit holding it down at home against the spread. Now, when you look over/unders is concerned, as an away underdog, the Rams were 3 to the over and 4 to the under, whereas Detroit, as a home favorite, was 7 to the over and 3 to the under. So you clearly see that Detroit was giving up some points or scoring points. I mean, either way, it wasn't looking good last year for the over-unders with Detroit. Everything was going over as far as at home games were concerned, man. And this year it could be a lot of the same. I mean, but we'll see. So, like I said, right now this game is Detroit giving up 4, and the total is 52. It's set at 52 right now. But when you look at how these two teams have played, and like I said, we'll go back to last season. Last season, in the last 10 games, the Rams were 7-3 straight up, 7-3 against the spread, and 6 to the over, 4 to the under. All right. Now, those teams that they played were some pretty darn good teams. We're talking about teams like San Francisco, where they won and covered there, on the road. We're talking about Baltimore. They lost there, but they covered there. You know, Green Bay, they lost there. They got gutted Green Bay back on November 5th, 2023. Cleveland, they beat the brakes off of Cleveland last year, 36-19, and covered that. You know, so the Rams were able to kind of play up to what was expected last year. I mean, people didn't expect them to do anything last year, and I believe, if I remember correctly, they almost made the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like, they almost made it. Now, if you're looking at Detroit in their last 10 games, all right, when you're looking at Detroit in their last 10 games, they are 6-4 against straight up, 7-3 against the spread, and 7 to the over and 3 to the under. They did play the Rams back on January 14th. That was a playoff game, and that was a playoff game. They played the Rams on January 14th, and they beat the Rams 24-23 at home. All right, they didn't cover the 3 points. The over-under was set at 53, and it just barely went under that 53, guys. Hence why the over-under is set so high right now. You know what I mean? At this 52.5, or in some places, 52. All right, now, if you're looking head-to-head, the last 10 times these two teams have matched up on the field, the Rams are leading it 5-4. All right, and then they are 6-3 against the spread. Rams lead that as well. And over/under is concerned, it's been 4 to the over and 5 to the under. Now remember, these two teams did match up last year. Last game, last game in the playoffs for the Rams back on the 14th, and the score was 24-23. The game did go under. The Rams went for a total of 425 yards. They rushed for 68 and threw for 357, whereas Detroit went for a total of 334. They rushed for 79 and passed for 255. So, there's just some numbers and some things you guys can look at. Now, where am I leaning and how am I feeling about this game? Well, here are the reasons why the Lions could beat the Rams. So the Rams have won each of their last 7 road openers. The Lions have lost each of their last 4 home openers as favorites. The underdogs have covered the spread in each of the Lions' last 8 Week 1 games. The Lions have failed to cover the spread in each of their last 5 games as home favorites against NFC West opponents. The Lions have lost the first half in each of their last 4 Week 1 home games against NFC West opponents. And the Rams have won the first quarter in 4 of their last 5 September games as road underdogs. The Rams also have scored the first touchdown in 4 of their last 5 Week 1 games. Now let's look at the inverse, man. Let's look at the total, all right, or why this total could be headed the way it's headed. Each of the Lions' last 9 season openers against NFC opponents has gone over the total points line. 4 of the last 5 Sunday games at Ford Field have gone over the total points line, and 4 of the Rams' last 5 road games have gone over the total points line, guys. So, with all that being said, we know this is the rematch between Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff, and both these teams have elite offenses, and we also expect Dave Montgomery to have a huge game on the ground. Both teams are going to go over 30 points. That's what I'm seeing anyway. That's how I'm feeling. And although it might go down to the last possession, I'm going to be honest with you. My play here is definitely going to be that over 51. Or over 52. It depends on where you're getting it at right now, guys. Now, as far as for the spread's concerned, it's a tough one, man. Because I honestly believe that the Rams probably are going to be good with that 4. I just have faith in Sean McVay and what he's doing over there. I do think the Lions are going to be a tough team this year. I think that I think they possibly could win this game, but I don't think they're going to cover the 4 points. But that's just a lean. Like I said, I'm leaning towards the Rams with the 4, maybe 4.5, and I'm definitely feeling that over 51 or over 52. I don't think that the Rams defense is going to be up to par yet, and I know for a fact the Lions defense ain't going to be up to par yet. They still got some major issues they got to resolve over there as far as in that second half of the backfield, and then on that defensive line too. They got Aiden Hutchinson, but they fail to really get pressure up the middle, man. They need a defensive tackle to go with him, man, or another edge rusher. That's just in my personal opinion. But I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Please like, subscribe. I hope this information helped you. And just have a blessed day and stay safe, man. I'm going to see y'all at the window. Peace.